All right, thank you so much. The program is right here on independent television. I told you that we're going to be looking at the issue of travel ban, I beg your pardon, from the U.S. To Nigeria now. And about 36 more nations have just been released. And last 2 weeks we saw 12 released, and about 6 of them were from Africa. But right now, 36 more nations, and Nigeria happens to be among these countries that may face a possible travel ban from the U.S. Now, I'll just read out the list of the countries. We'll have Angola, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, and Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Egypt, Gabon, Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Malawi, and Mauritania. Others include Niger, Nigeria, South Tome and Principe, Senegal, South Sudan, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe. And also we have Barbuda and Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Bhutan, Cambodia, and Kyrgyzstan, Syria, Tonga, Tuvalu, and Vanuatu. Well, some of these countries, I'm just seeing them for the first time. So these nations, numbering about 36 nations all across the globe, that faces possible travel ban from the U.S. Now, the reason is very, very simple, that the U.S. Administration, the new administration there now, talking about Donald Trump, has found out that these countries, they have issues with identity, and it's almost a major problem that we have in Nigeria. And that's why the issue of insecurity in the country is almost a hard nut for the government to handle. I mean, a situation whereby anybody can just, come into the country and claim to be a Nigerian. And that's a big issue on the other hand. Well, this morning, to look at this possible travel ban that Nigeria faces, we are so privileged to have a retired permanent secretary, but a public affairs analyst now, and one man that is so interested in talking about Nigeria and seeing how the nation can be better positioned. I'm talking about Bashir Kadiri. Sir, you're welcome to the program this morning on ITV.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay.
God bless Nigeria.
All right. And I'm being joined by my co-anchor, Mr. Lena. Mr. Lena, nice to have you one more time on the program.
Nice to have you too.
Okay. All right, sir. So we have seen the 36 countries and, of course, the 60 days window opportunity that has been given, that these nations, they have issues relating to identification. I mean, here in Nigeria, the last means of identification that the country did was the NIN. But even at that, we still had issues with it. So tell us, from your own point of view, do you see Nigeria, if we can really, trying to live up to expectation within these 60 days of opportunity given to us?
Well, let me start by first appreciating the fact that America has a right to decide who comes to their country. It's not a contestation, it is true. Is that to tell you don't come or come in is their business. Security is their major concern. But of course, unfortunately for us in Africa, we are yet to understand that Africa should wake up and be a continent of respect and honor. Because I realize that one of the problems Africans have is that we have so much blackmail. Africans have been so much blackmailed from the days of the religious travels, where blacks are designed as evil and whites are called angels. And everything you find in the world today, the black is designed as devil, and the white is designed as angel. So even if the white have the cross of the biggest crime in the world. So for me, I want to first start by saying that America have a right, but that, again, Nigerians should wake up. Our database are not clear. We need to rejig our data. We need to have a comprehensive data analysis. Our major problem in Nigeria is that everywhere you go, there are data crises. Whether you look at agriculture, you look at education, everything you see, some of them are concocted stories. They are not data that you can rely on and take decision. And that is why we realize that our policy making, We have very fantastic policies, very sound laws, but to implement them become a complex thing because we don't have the data to match what we are doing. Now, all of these are fundamental problems. Yes, people will just sit down and look at data and say, let me change my name suddenly, without even recourse to the fact that there are fundamentals you must respect. People change name at will. Some do duplicate their passports. Some duplicate everything they do. They change name today, tomorrow another name, especially when they are desperately wanting to go to all these foreign countries. And for me, I don't see what is the desperation of going to foreign countries, by the way. I don't see the desperation.
Yeah, but
I don't see the hold on a minute, my dear. I don't see desperation. Because I think that very clearly, we always think from here, when we are not there, that place is a land full of honey, where you just go and pick money and raise funds and all of that. And a lot of our young men who have gone today, some of them are frustrated there. They cannot even come back home, out of shame, out of humiliation. How do I get back to my people that I cannot survive? I was in Geneva some time ago. Of course, I went there as a delegate, because normally, many years ago, I was picked as Nigerian delegate to the NLC, to the International Labour Organization conference in Geneva. I was there. And of course, when I went into one of the eateries, called the African Eatery Point, and I was shocked. Young men came there begging for food.
Africans?
Africans, blacks. And I said, what are you doing here? And you cannot sit down in your home and look for something? My dear, let me tell you this strange story. You see, I don't like lamentation. I like getting results. Because this is a point of lamentation. I don't like lamentation. If you come to Benin and see how young men roll wheelbarrow and make money, if you know what they make, those boys who call wheelbarrow and sell, you'll be amazed. And somebody tells me that there's hunger, there's problem. I said, no, that is lamentation. In the same system, you complain that the system is not good. That seems people are making money on a daily basis. And during celebrations, go to their home, see how they celebrate. No, so for me, first is that the Nigerian government must sit up. This is a wake-up call. It is not a time to lament.
Yeah, well,
we must address it properly.
Yeah, well, we say we must sit up now because, the whole thing, it's somehow funny in the sense that it is not the first time that Donald Trump is doing it. Remember in 2017 when he was president in the U.S., there was also a travel restriction. As a matter of fact, he did it in such a way that it became illegal, the way some experts explained it then. He extended it to Nigeria, and right now he's trying to put Nigeria into that same list again. But what we're saying is that, are we saying that between then and now that the country has not succeeded in trying to improve on our identification methodology? I mean, with the NIN thing coming on board?
Now you are taking me somewhere. I didn't want to go there. But let me tell you the truth, is that Donald Trump have no regard for the blacks and the Arabs.
No, well, that's your own opinion.
No. He said so. He said so. He's somebody who talks like somebody in the comic magazine.
But that's your opinion.
No. Hold on. When you say so or not, fine, because I know this is a TV station who hold responsibility of making sure that things are not done. And that these statements are not my statements. The biggest challenge is that the blacks are not. In fact, I tell you this, my dear. If you know the history of Donald Trump, there is these tendencies of color crisis, supremacist definition. So when you are taking us to that point, my own take is this. All of this is because the African continent have decided to play itself down in the value they had that would have been the plus. Are you aware that in the 80s, people wished to come to Nigeria? Do you know what it means to come to Nigeria then?
Well, sorry.
Yes, please.
I feel this thing has already been like a mindset. So with Nigerians, we feel, okay, the fact that we are leaving our countries to other countries, we're going there for greener pastures. Like this thing has already been in our mind. So even though Donald Trump has already said a few years back that, okay, they're banning some countries from entering their countries, and it's happening again this time, and thank God Nigerians at least is among the list that you could enter the country. You just have to meet up with the expectations for 60 days.
There's a 60 days window, yeah.
Yeah, for 60 days. Don't you think even the fact that you are saying now that there are lots of potentials in Nigeria, there are lots of things people can do in Nigeria to make money. Why do we still have this mindset that, oh, we would have to leave our countries? Like some Nigerians, I'm not saying all Nigerians, right? We would have this mindset that we'll have to leave our country before you can succeed.
Yeah, that's a fine question. You You see, let me tell you, there's what we call psychic distortion.
Okay.
We have been psychologically distorted over time. I started with the background that the black, anything black is not satanic or demonic. Anything white is angelic.
Yes.
I started by that. That's my premise.
Sure, I heard.
Now, that premise was fundamental to clear this point you are making now.
Okay.
And so, the average black man, not even Nigeria alone, see himself as a superstar when he goes to the Englishman
All the
land.
country, yes.
And even if he's poor, washing dirty cleans there.
He prefers it.
And he prefers it. And when he comes back here, he speaks, even when he cannot understand English, he's speaking. I'm Ghana, I'm this one, and all of that. You know, and he becomes mentally slaved. You see, this is what we call mental slavery. You see, if you read the works of W.E.B. Du Bois,
Okay.
what did he say? He said, you can chain my hands, shackle my legs, but you can't chain my mind. The power of any man is in his mind, not in the chains in his hand or in his legs. So the point is that what I'm trying to say here is that the Africans can change the narrative. We can drive the process. Once the mind can carry it, whatever is thinkable, it is doable. Now that this has happened, even though I see it as the Trump's tendencies of anything that is Africa must be humiliated.
But how do we change?
Now I'm coming.
Okay.
Now, this, you see, sometimes when God created the world, from what we are told, he made what we call the duality. What is duality? There is night, there is day.
Yes.
Isn't that true? There is man, there is woman. And there is evil, and there is good. Each of these things were not done by accident. They were done to define our mental structure. Now, if the entire world was painted white, and there was nothing like black nor green, you wouldn't even understand what aesthetics means.
Yes.
Will you?
Yeah.
No. So I'm going somewhere again, because my take is that people are listening to us, and so they need to have a strong premise in the argument. Now, when God did that, it was that each of them has a contrast. If you do not know what is bad, you cannot appreciate what is good. Now, what is bad makes you now think out of the box to become clearly defined and have an agenda to drive.
In other words, things were made to complement each other.
Exactly. They're meant to be a contrast.
That is the analogy.
So where we are going to...
That's the analogy I need to follow now.
Yes. Now, where we are going to now is this, is that Trump has triggered this, is that we have to now think. As Africans, we have to now think. Because if this thing didn't happen, maybe we'll still be living in the cocoon that we were trapped. The white man we have been trapped over the years, and these are stories that have been told by scholars, that Africa must come out. If you read the word of Walter Rodney, you know Walter Rodney? Have you heard of him before?
I've heard of him.
Now, Walter Rodney, how Europe can develop Africa. And I said, yes, that time it was a good story, but now that's lamentation. Now we have an idea. Let us change. What this man has done to us is to make us sit back. China was not a superstar many years ago. Today, China has burst the sky. Japan was in the canvas. They were not superstar. They have burst the sky. They are not looking at the Western culture.
Yes,
they're looking at their own culture. How do we define our own culture?
Beautiful. Now,
to give us our identity.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, we understand that all these countries may have their challenges.
Of course, they're normal.
Nigeria may have its challenges.
Normal.
But you and I also, we agree, even right here on this program right now, that the issue of identification in this country right now, I mean, it's better off compared to like 10 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have, maybe the BVN just started. We didn't have the NIN. All these are means of identification. Now, what we are saying is that you were trying to look at the two sides of an issue. Now, you're saying that life is complementary. Now, we're talking about diplomatic relationship here. America as a nation, even as mighty as they may seem, America will never exist on its own. America will exist along other nations. Now, this latest development now, don't you think Trump is trying to sever diplomatic relationship with nations of the world?
Now, let me tell you, Trump is not just started the story now. Don't forget that when he came this second tenure, his first theater, I use the word theater, I don't want to give it a bad description. His first theater was trade war. Am I correct?
He did it again this time.
No, hold on a minute.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. When he came back the second tenure,
yeah.
the first thing he did was to create trouble in the water. And to say that they will trade war, that the trade is that, of course, the Chinese goods, their tariff must be higher, and all of that, and all of that, and all of that. And
Okay.
Chinese says...
We'll quickly take a short break now because
Yes.
I've just been told to do that. Don't go away. The program is still this morning on ITV. Please stay tuned.
TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thank you one more time. The program is still right here on independent television, and we're still looking at the latest developments, talking about the travel ban, the threats that the U.S. has given to 36 nations of the world, of which Nigeria as a nation has been, included. So we are looking at how we can actually make sure that we remove our name as a nation from that list. And our guest this morning is a retired civil servant, a former permanent secretary with Ministry of Agriculture in Edo State, Bashir Kadiri. So one more time, you're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Now, we're trying to look at the issue of Donald Trump at the position of trying to sever diplomatic relationship with nations of the world.
Now, Donald Trump is a central piece. He tells you America is a central piece. That's what he told us. And of course, by the very history of Donald Trump, I don't want to go into his history now, but I just want to mention that he has this penchant for color definition. Okay, I don't want to run a station into talk. Now, but I will tell you this for free. Even though he had that penchant, he also understands that he needs others. But what he wants others to do is to behave like slaves while he becomes the king. Donald Trump wants to establish the Tsar dynasty. Like I said today at the beginning of this discussion, I said I appreciate every country have a responsibility to defend its country, make its country a superstar. I agree. But you cannot do that without acknowledging other countries have a role to play in your own country's survival. That's the truth. And that is what he does not seem to see. He thinks that every country needs America to be a better country. That's the impression. That's what I can read from what he's doing. Fine, if you can wake up in the morning, your first stanza is to hit China and to hit other countries. You are under how many years in reign? That's your first drive. You are not considering how do I make American economy to come back with other economies. All you are considering is that how do I take other countries and make them see themselves as we are only one helping them, they're not helping us. But that's what is going on. Because here, he told a man from Ukraine that the man is not grateful. He told him, it was public domain, not me. That the Ukrainian president is not grateful to America. But after seeing them, he's talking the way. And this man came to your, you said you should come, he came. And you harassed him on public media. That is one. The second is that Donald Trump have not told us by any time imagination what offense that the blacks committed against him. We are still waiting. We hear that one day. Now, but the final thing I want to mention here, which I think is very important to us, is that let us take it as a wake-up call. Let us take this visa, whatever issue, as a wake-up call.
The travel ban, yeah.
Travel ban as a wake-up call. That we Africans should now think inward. Let us do introspection. Let's analyze what is wrong with our system.
Do you think,
why are we not out?
Do you think you're saying Africans need to take this as a wake-up call, right?
Yes,
do you
yes.
think Africans were going to think like that?
Now, that is why this media house is here. And that's why people like us will talk. This talk, you never can tell who it will affect. It might affect somebody that whose opinion can also fly. I want to run and find himself close to where these influences are discussed. Because the reason is this, is that, like I said, for every such situation, there's a message you must learn. It's a lesson you must learn. Because life is a school. All the PhDs you run in university are not as strong as lesson life teaches you. So what we are doing now is that, yes, Trump has told us that we do not have data. Okay, we have said something of that nature before, but we agree that what we had many years ago is far more, what we have now is more than what we had many years ago, comparing it. But we also know that there are a lot of what they call it spaces, if you like, gaps in our database. These are fundamental stories, which of course, like I said, it's a wake-up call we have to work on. But beyond that is that when a man sees you people as inferior, and anything he does it as if I have a right, I'm in charge, I pray America, God help America to come out of this struggles. Because if it continues like this, even Americans themselves at the time protested. You watch the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me, where I'm going to is this, is that I do not want to lament on this. I want to say that let our countries wake up to make their internal economy strong.
Yeah.
So that if our internal economy is strong, then possibly this travel thing will not be a kind of a thing that you long to do. For I tell you one thing, me as a person, I've told myself that traveling where I'm going out of this country anytime I go out as an expert.
No, of course, I don't even expect you to be traveling for greener
No, my dear. Many people will tell you, you know, that, oh, yes, you have this, just go there. And I said, no. Look, there were years where I had the privilege of going to the United. They gave me a visa, and I didn't go because the program I was going for had elapsed. So what am I doing?
Let me quickly go back to what you were trying to say a while ago. You know, you were trying to look at the issue of Donald Trump, the protestation concerning some of his policies and all that, even in the U.S.
In the U.S.
Take, for example, a state like Chicago. For almost 2 weeks backwards now, we've heard of continuous protests in that state concerning this travel ban and all that, concerning the whole immigration policies and all that. Now, most of these policies that Donald Trump is rolling in now, they are just, you know, they are mere statements. They are really not laws, as it were, because the U.S. as a nation has the immigration laws and all that. So for the average American, you cannot handle world issues, diplomatic issues with statements and all that. There are laws. So if you are saying that people are going against the laws to come into the country, let us know that, but not for you to come and introduce your own policies and all that and all that. So that's on one side. But let us look at it now. Now, how do we begin? Don't you think it is high time that Donald Trump needs to know something, that look, this is all personalistic. All he's doing is all personalistic. Because you cannot tell me that the whole 36 nations of the world, even Burkina Faso, you know, that somehow is beginning to gain some form of recognition in everything that has to do with governance, you know, even if it is ruled by military junta and all that. So you cannot say that all 36 nations of this world, that they don't have a verifiable database of data means or means of identification.
Now, if a man wants to hurt you, he does not care where he bites.
Because he wants to be personal.
He wants to hurt you. Now, the issue is that Donald Trump is like a czar, from what I can picture. It's like a czar. You know the czar? The story of the czar.
What was the czar?
Czar. Czar is like His Royal Majesty.
No.
You know? And what he says must be, his word is law. Forget what you are saying in laws. You can see the way he behaves. He doesn't even think the law. He first of all act before he look at what.
Don't you think he's leading the nation into anarchy?
No. You see, I didn't want to go there. Today, you were trying to stop.
Because the
point is this: where we are today in America, America will not know that they are bringing down their integrity in the world class.
Okay, so what we're saying is that all Donald Trump is doing now is wrong.
You see, I wouldn't say so because the definition of his wrongness is also what we call subjective. It depends on who is looking at Donald Trump's position. There are some guys today who will tell you that Trump is one of the great guys they've ever seen. They will tell you. And I laugh. And these people are not just people, they are people of scholar talk. You know, so sometimes I wonder. But I told myself, yes, we can't all think the same way, because if we sleep even in the same bed, we cannot even dream the same dream.
Okay,
yes.
Before Donald Trump, there's order being order precedents, right?
Yes.
Are you trying to say this whole thing is based on Donald Trump's personality or the fact that he's U.S. president?
No. See, Donald Trump have his own character, and his character is like a smoke, cannot hide in the waste. No matter how you try it, it cannot hide in the waste. Once you put fire and the things underneath it, the smoke must come out. Find a way out. You see, Donald Trump have a mindset, from what I can read, I may be wrong, that I'm in charge. I'm the American president.
So
whatever
this is his person.
Yes, whatever I say is going to stand. As American president, we own the world. He drives the system. To him, the world is in their hands. They decide what happens anywhere in the world, and they can go anywhere in the world and do what they want to do. Like the former Bush told us,
Okay.
that America can go to anywhere and do anything, and there is no sheriff that can stop them. So the impression is this, is that until that impression changes, that every other human being has a right to life. You know, the Americans believe that they favor us. We are not having anything to give to them. But unfortunately, that is not true. It's too paradoxical. For instance, the average workers in America, a lot of them are blacks. A lot of them who does fundamental works, and this is what fundamental works are blacks.
They're blacks, should be
And
true.
then those of them who are in the laboratory, researchers, are blacks. Some of them who are scholars today, nobles, class, are blacks. Who come with knowledge that drives the system are blacks.
All right, so
for me, for anybody to now sit down and say, these people, because from what you are seeing now, you can see the rollout. This rollout is showing you that this man have some negative feeling that these people are coming to exploit us. Let us ask them to excuse us. And he's not saying that now because there's a small line between that statement and what he's doing now. And what he's doing now is going to expose all of that. Now, you see, when a man says, I don't like you, and he won't tell you that I don't like you, his actions tells you that this man has something he doesn't like about me. He may not tell you that in words, but the action shows it. His body language suggests that Africans should stay away from America. But unfortunately, the people who made America as great as it is today, they are Africans.
Okay.
And then even Donald Trump himself, who now says that immigrants are what we call strangers. And somebody recently carried his grandfather's document and went to meet him. Is it the German man? I saw that on social media.
German Chancellor
yeah. Took it to him and showed him this father's thing. And when he showed him, he laughed. He said, I don't know what
there are different ways.
People make statements by these pictorials.
Comrade Bashir, there are different ways to explain Donald Trump, because some say that he's not, what he says is not what he means, you know. But let's look at what we are talking about this morning, because whether I would like it or not, whether we may try to say that Donald Trump is wrong and all that, I think we also need to begin to talk to ourselves, because some of the reasons that the U.S. Department of State is giving is that most of these nations, they overstay their visa. I mean, how do you overstay your visa? Take, for example, you are given a visa to visit a country for like 2 weeks. Instead of visiting that country within the 2 weeks, you return back to your country. Most of these nations, they overstay. That should be told. That's the situation. Now, don't you think it's high time, maybe through the Federal Ministry of Internal Affairs or Foreign Affairs or whatever, that we should begin to look at a situation whereby maybe we begin to organize orientation programs for would-be travelers outside of this country, so that they should see the need not to go and soil the nation's name out there. Now, when you are living, please don't overstay. Make sure you stay within your visa. Don't you think so?
Now, I'll tell you, my dear, every traveler knows that there is time to enter and time to go. It's not something you don't reinvent the wheel. They know. Every traveler knows. And those countries we're talking about, America, for instance, knows when you entered, if they have the tag very clearly. And they know where you are going to go. They know your house, and they know where you are going to stay.
Yeah, but
so for me, I'm coming. No, hold on a minute. You see, there are times somebody travel, and then they will just come to your house and knock your door and tell you that tomorrow you are excused in the system. Yeah. Isn't that true? Are you getting what I'm saying now? Must that be the subject matter of your heat of everybody? Now, I tell you this. I agree that one bad egg can change the odor of this room, and this room will be in trouble, even though not everywhere the egg is. It's true. But the truth is this. Like I said earlier today, and I said it's a wake-up call for the Nigerian and African people. I said it earlier. That was my premise. For me, whatever it is now that is happening now is something that we have to use as the material to develop our society, and to see how we can drive our society to make it a society that is respected. People wish to come. Now, when the white man comes here, he is, what they call them now, he's an adventurist.
Is a
tourist.
Yeah.
But when we go there,
we are adventurous.
Is he only adventurous now?
We are search of greener pasture.
No, we are liability. That's what they see us. Look at, that's why I said Nigeria particularly must wake up. I said this earlier. We must wake up and make our economy strong. Look at what happened here. All of this story is about the economic goal.
Yeah.
You see, the centerpiece, universal description is economic matters. Now, look at it. Leave America now for a short while, and let's look at our own continent. Nigerians are under threat everywhere they go. In South Africa, in Ghana. You heard some years ago, where Nigerian shops in Ghana were shut down. And then in South Africa, Nigerians were attacked. And how many can we remember? The stories that are going on everywhere. In some of these neighboring countries, people are also alleging, I use the word allege, because I'm not there, that there's a lot of hatred and conspiracy. And all of these are functional statements to show that Nigeria is a country of high repute. I use the word high repute.
Yeah.
But for people to begin to be envious and jealous of you, something is somewhere that people are looking at. So you as a person should sit down. Instead of say, oh, they hate me, they keep talking about me. Why not look at the ball and roll the ball and hit it and make it a place of reference?
Okay. Now, how do we begin to reposition our identification methodologies? Because I don't know, Nigeria is probably a country that anybody can come in from anywhere. Yeah. A Malian can come into Nigeria. He claims a local government in the north, and he goes for a local government certification of origin. He's given. He goes for his NI and he's given. So how do we strengthen our identification methodologies?
Now, first of all, my dear, is that the era of your manual work is gone.
It's gone, yeah.
It is now digital.
Digital, yeah.
From agriculture to social life to security, everywhere it's digital. And you can click and you are there. You can even sit down here and click, you'll see what is happening somewhere in Borno. You can track even your own business organization from your room. You can do the tracking. And you will see the persons going and going out. Now, what has happened here is that over time, because of our liberal nature as Nigeria is a very liberal country. Because we are liberal, people took it for granted. People took us for granted. And people they see us as people who are so liberal. Just go to Nigeria, you are okay. If you go to some of these African countries, Nigeria is like their own hope to go to.
Yeah. What you just said, I remember when I went to Togo few months back.
Yes.
You know, when I got there, I was like, oh, Nigerians. You know, most of these African countries, I do not want to like say anything bad about a particular country,
Yes.
but I just feel Nigerians, we are like, I do not want to say we are top, but we are doing so well. I'm talking about African countries.
Yes,
I'm not talking about international countries.
Yes.
You know, the reason why I said that was because of what you just said. When you said if we, you know, other countries, they're like looking up to Nigerians, other African countries, they're looking up to Nigerians.
Yes. So if you look at that position, for the purpose of economic reality, we have the potentials that we are to hit. And these potentials start from population. Many countries in the world wish that they are like Nigeria, so that they can have their market that can swallow. Do you know today, as I talk to you, the oil palm production in Nigeria, we still have a deficit of 1.7 or 1.7 million liters deficit, which means that companies coming can even produce, even to cover those gaps. There are several of such opportunities. Nigeria have a great potential, both at the level of agriculture, both at the level of intellectual material. Just mention them. We have them. So, but what we need to do is now to sit down and to look at the material and now work on a strategy. How do we develop each of these areas to bring that we need? Many years ago, Nigeria have about 71 textile mills.
Okay. All right.
So, know what I'm saying?
I beg to pause you.
Yeah,
we'll just take another short break. I've been informed that we should do that now. So we'll take another short break. And when we return, on the other side, we'll commence our descent so that we can wrap it up on our discussion segment this morning from Benin.
TMI, every opinion counts.
All right, thank you one more time. The program is still right here. So the last lap of our discussion segment from Benin this morning, and we still have Comrade Bashir Kadiri as our guest on the show. Now, some of the things that the U.S. Department of State also mentioned against these 36 countries is that most of these countries, they don't provide civil reliable civil documents, when you are traveling. And also that some of their nationals, government staff and all that, they are highly related to fraud issues and all that. So let's take it one after the other. The issue of civil document. Thank God you just retired from the civil service now. Now, when we talk about civil documents, we've seen the recent innovation in government parastatals in governance in Nigeria, whereby everything is now database. So are we saying that this database, documentation of issues, of credentials and all that, of documents of particulars are not reliable?
Now, the first thing is that who defined the reliability?
Is for the fact that the government gave it to you.
so now, you see, the man who you are going to visit, he has the right to define whether what you are giving me is reliable or not. Your government gave you a document. The man you are going to meet says, this document, I'm afraid, I don't trust it.
So it means they don't trust the Nigerian government.
Nigerians.
Beautiful,
Exactly.
beautiful. Now you are talking. Because if there was a trust, there are sometimes, because of the way they see you, they don't want you to go there.
But first of all, how did you even get here? Like, how did you even get to this level?
That's what I'm saying, my dear. You may not have followed my trend. My trend is that many years ago, the white man turned our mental thing upside down. So we became mentally enslaved, that even to think as a people, that's why we have lost our culture. Let me tell you the truth now. Are you aware that what we are running in Nigeria now is neither black nor white culture? There's a mixed culture, and there's anarchy. And that culture is anarchy. Because when you have one and the other together, it becomes synthesis. What becomes synthetic becomes something you cannot put your finger. In many years ago, Africans have some level of respect. But that respect has gone, even among ourselves.
So they doubt our government.
Now, that's the truth. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is that the second is that they believe that we are still where we are many years ago and that we have not changed. They hardly can, you see, when a man have already hysteric you, it's difficult to change his mind, though. Have you ever experienced that kind of thing? When the man already hysteric you, that this person is bad, it will take him time to rethink. And how will it rethink? It's when you are now coming out without coming to ask him for a favor. He will now begin to think, this man no longer come to my house again. I no longer see him. What is happening? And they say it's now doing better. You are going to curry respect. But right now, we need to work on our own system to get the respect that we deserve. You see, each time they see you now, they see you as a liability.
And the truth is, most of this impression they have about Nigerians
Yes.
is actually not true.
No, that's what I'm saying. It is not true. But the issue is that we need to work to make us climb a bit this, so that they will see reasons to see us as people they want to go to, not we always coming to them. Because
there are different things to really look at. Now, the Olympic Games, U.S. is co-hosting with Canada.
Yes.
And that's next year, 2026.
Yes.
Now, most of the participants are going to come from this 36 states. So are we saying, how do you think they're going to go about that?
Well, first is that, you know, Americans have one thing, like Donald Trump, with due regard to his sensibility. It's not too stable sometimes. You say one thing in the morning and in the evening, there's already a retweak. He can give up to say that, well, for the purpose of the sports, because he knows the economic value of that sport to his people. Because of the sports, those who are clear, they will screen them properly and bring them in. Because the bound is not there yet. But what he is doing now, you know, when he talk about the trade and tariff against China, China told him, we're going to give it to you 100% back. And the man I started hearing a new song. But I expected that as a president of a country, what he would have done was to do, first of all, consult with China and have a small talk with them. It's only when that talk break down that they come out with this public statement. But what he just did was just to announce it, bam. And you know, unfortunately for him, Chinese food have taken over American markets.
Yes.
Are you getting what I'm saying now? Chinese food has taken over American markets. And so that will be difficult to change.
It
Chinese
was,
wear.
It was
American
actually
market.
the World Cup 2026, not the Olympic Games. The World Cup
Okay,
2026.
fine,
Yeah.
fine. You know what I'm saying? So he might wake up one morning and say, for the purpose of these sports, we are giving these people to come and do, because he knows the value that will bring to his economy. Don't forget that Donald Trump is a capitalist. He has no social content. He's a capitalist. Everything is about returns. And
about him and his country.
No human touch. His own is that if it's not coming from there, forget it. And so, like I said earlier, the truth is that you may get there and discover that Trump will tell you something else different from what he's been saying now. But however, that's a bridge we'll cross.
Okay.
Where I'm going to now is this, is that I keep saying this. If Africa rise and exploit what they have, these people will see us as where they want to come to. And they begin to have some respect for us. I started changing their mindset. That's one. Two, Africans must sit together. No longer this silos relationship. No longer suspicious relationship. No longer thinking that Africa continent is too better. Let us, for instance now, if you look at people that are coming to Africa, are coming to Nigeria on this crisis here everywhere in Nigeria, the terrorist issue, they are not white men. These people are blacks. Whether they have hand of Jacob and Esau issue in the matter, I wouldn't know now, because I've heard several stories, but that is not for public, this kind of TV talk.
Discussion, yeah.
Yes, because you need to have your data before you begin to make such situations. But whether we like it or not, social media can even change your own voice. You look as if you are the one talking, but actually not the one talking.
Yes.
So now, what are we here? Is that the African continent must now see themselves as a continent of one that can drive their economy.
Yeah.
We have a very big potential that no continent in the world will contest our capacity. Look at now, Chinese people are coming here now. If you know the more Chinese are coming here now, they are coming in drones. They are coming to Africa in drones. And before you call Jack Robbie, and that's why the contestation now is there now. The struggle now is that Chinese is taking over Africa from America. America is in trouble. America is in trouble with them. Look at the story of the Russians. They're also coming to the African continent. Look at the Burkina Faso, the Niger, and all of that. Okay? America is thinking that their empire is being balkanized. What is happening? So the people will do what we call the subterranean attack. So that underground, you don't know what is happening. You start seeing things happening. You start, where is it happening from? So the point is this, that Africans must not take over. Do you know that people like Murtala Muhammad, the story we had about his death was that it was concocted and designed by a particular part of the world to ensure that the man gives way. Why? Because he said something in the conference, that Africa has come of age, that no continent have a right to decide what Africans should do. As we don't go to that country, should leave us alone to do our own. Let us allow Africa. They say, oh, this man, if we allow this man to continue, we are in trouble. This man must be excused. The same thing happened to the Gaddafi experience. Gaddafi experience says, you cannot say you are not aligned. You said you're an African or you're not an African. You can't say I'm neither here nor there. And they say, well, Gaddafi, this man, look at Libya.
Well, all these are just different opinions.
No. I'm just giving you historical references. Because if you don't have history, there can be no present for the better future. We need to look at our history to be able to look at where we're coming from, what went wrong, how do we take today a better day for a better future. That's the truth of the matter. So now, if you look at all of these stories, there are stories that you need to sit back and say, let us now think well and take over our continent. Let Africa economy come back. Because if the economy is strong, the white man who is making policies now will be thinking of, how do I go to Africa? He won't even have mind to be thinking of how to make policies against Africa. He's thinking of how to make Africa come here. Now, the second we want to do is that in Africa, we must make sure that we consume what we produce. What we produce, we consume what we produce. And we produce what we consume.
Anyway, I think we have to draw the curtain on this discussion this morning so that we can pave way for all the segment. Well, in the words of a respondent, he said, these are only but for 2 years. How does it mean? I mean, Donald Trump has just about 2 more years to go. And maybe after the expiration of his second term, he cannot definitely come back again as the U.S. president. And maybe there will be a change of government now. It will be in favor of the Democrats. Democrats, they have their own policies different. At least immigration somehow favors.
The truth, my dear, is that what we are saying now, let's pray that Donald Trump not trick America, the entire American system upside down. I pray for America every day that I wake up, as I pray for my country, Nigeria.
Anyway,
because if you have a terrible leader, he can somersault the system.
Well, some are praising him, some are praising him.
That's
Even
what I'm telling
some,
you.
so that's
He has
just the way it
followers.
is. All right, so I want to say a very big thank you, Kadir
so much,
Bashir Kadir, for coming on the show today. And this is where we draw the curtain. All right, so the program is still this morning on ITV on independent television. And we'll take a short pause now so that all the segments will come your way. Please stay tuned.